Guys, fall is around the corner and it's time to celebrate. Barbell Apparel's most popular deal is back, but only for a limited time. Spend $99 or more and you're going to receive a free Stealth hoodie. I'm wearing one right now. It's not your ordinary hoodie. The Stealth hoodie is unbelievably comfortable. It comes with tapered athletic fit and features high quality construction, including a scuba hood for extra warmth. There are premium finishes like metal drawstrings, caps, and fused zipper seams. It's made from FlexTech fabric that's moisture wicking, breathable, and it's the most comfortable hoodie that you will ever wear. The Stealth hoodie is perfect for the gym or the street, but this deal isn't going to last long. It's an $88 value, but it's free if you spend $99 or more. Barbell Apparel Stealth hoodie is the hoodie you've always wanted, but didn't realize you're missing until right now. Guys, use the promo code Chael10 for this incredible deal at barbellapparel.com or click the link in the description. Jon Jones at heavyweight, what a great career move. I mean, in all truth, there has been more headlines and more discussion on Jon Jones, who hasn't done anything in a period of time, since he's moved up to heavyweight. I mean, right? That's what everybody's talking about, and everybody's fantasizing and make-believing and what's going to be next. Look, it's almost difficult to imagine that Jon Jones isn't going to waltz up to heavyweight and move right through it without a scratch on him. I mean, it is almost difficult to. You've got OSP coming out, and OSP saying, yeah, he's going to be able to pick those guys apart. You have Daniel Cormier, who has done both weight classes and been in there with Jon Jones, who says, yeah, he's going to go out there and do great. DC did not go as far as to say he's not going to have a scratch on him, he's going to move right through it, but DC did go as far to only make one comparison to Jon, which is Stipe. And this is not a foregone conclusion, and we're all just anointing Jon. Because while you might be complimentary of Jon, you're accidentally insulting Ngannou and Blades and Lewis and the rest of the boys. So that's not what I'm attempting to say here, but there is a little bit of a backstory that I don't have the answer for, but you could at least speculate and do an informative guess. Let me give an example. When Jon was at Jackson Wink, many times, many days for what would accumulate to many hours, he sparred with Travis Browne. Travis Browne was as far as ranked number 4 in the world at heavyweight, is why I bring his name up. Jon sparred many times, which accumulated to many hours with Alistair Overeem. I've never heard Browne or Reem come out. Now, they're respectful guys. They were teammates. There would be a reason they did it, but I've never heard them come out and say, yeah, I handled Jon. I was just too big for him. Or, you know what? Jon came out and handled me. He was just too quick for me. I've never heard how those workouts went. But there is reports that he did just fine with the big boys. There was also be a speculation at best, but we'll go ahead and speculate, that Jon might have felt something different. And even if he was touching them more than they were touching him, there would be a reasonable belief that he felt something different. And felt, as well as that might have gone, or whatever my constraints may have been, I'm a 205 pounder. And 205 has always been a varied feature weight class. You can tie that back to Frank Shamrock, who passed the torch on to Tito, who passed the torch to Chuck, who passed it to Randy Couture. 205 has always been very featured, but none of us make believe that heavyweight is the special class. That's the title Hulk Hogan had. That's the title that Muhammad Ali had. That's the title that George Foreman and Mike Tyson had. Heavyweight's the class. We all understand that. I only bring that to your attention because Jon Jones, who sparred with these guys, and by any level of rumor that gets out, did really well. Top guys in the world. Did really well. But he elected to stay at 205 for a reason. And Jon also did a good job of letting us into his mindset when he walked away from the 205-pound belt. Said a couple of things. He said, first off, let's just kill I'm going to stay in the USADA pool. This is out of good faith and sportsmanship. On the other side of the coin, I'm planning to move up to heavyweight, and I'm going to go focus on some powerlifting. He's letting us know he believes he needs to put on some size. And he even said a little bit further, he said, I personally believe that my own DNA is going to do better with a bigger frame. He didn't elaborate on that, But when he talked DNA, I was looking at his brothers. His brothers are bigger guys, both won world championships, 2 different teams, NFL. So I thought when he was his father, big man, I thought that that's what Jon meant. I think I'm right. He didn't finish that thought, but I think that's what he meant. And he's very curious. How am I going to do if I tried to grow into heavyweight? He also had a frame of reference, which is what I referenced, which was him in the practice room. And while I bring up Brown and Overeem, there was other guys in there. Andrei Arlovsky in there. Right? I'm name dropping now, but when you're at Jackson Wink, it's pretty easy to do. There's a lot of guys, and I'm going back over a period of time where a young and lighter and skinnier 205-pound Jon Jones took on these guys, and everybody that saw it said that he did just fine. They didn't go any further than that. I interpret it to be that Jon did very well. But Jon had a different opinion. There's a reason he went to 205 pounds, and there's also a reason where he's going to take a deep breath here and go and put on some size. I just think it's interesting, and I do think when you look at Jon at heavyweight and we know that he's going to fight for the title, we believe that's likely to be next after the title gets resolved between Stipe and Ngannou, which means Jon's going to draw into either Stipe and or Ngannou. You got a power hitter that'll bring a curtain call for anybody you put in front of him with one punch, and then you have a technician who can go 25 minutes without problem and is not going to back down from anybody, including if your name is Jon Jones. I mean, it gets to be pretty interesting, but you also get to narrow it down a little bit. And when you weigh that in with Jon's own opinion, of which is I need to put on a few pounds, it makes it interesting. Look, the only problem that Jon Jones has ever had, the whole reason he has to change weight classes, it's the Roy Jones Jr. effect. He got so good that there was just a gap, and if you could not make believe that somebody could close the gap, there was just nothing to see. There wasn't enough dialogue and conversation. Sports always comes down to that. Some kind of a water cooler talk where you start arguing against the NFC and the AFC. You just start having these arguments, and before you know it, the argument gets escalated, and all of a sudden you're betting snacks over it with somebody. My team wins, you're buying lunch. I mean, all of a sudden it gets escalated, but there's a real emotion out there, and Jon just got so good. When all of a sudden you got heavyweight, and you have Jon's own message, which is, here's what I need to do before I go and do it. It's very helpful. It's very, very helpful. Can he cruise through heavyweight and be unscathed? That seems like a leap. It seems like a rude thing for us to conclude. Can he go up to heavyweight and instantly be a top guy? It would be very silly for us to say anything other than yeah, of course.